FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
It is a not widely recognized characteristic of our higher education system that it is, I think it may be as competitive an industry as any exists in our country. The competition for students, the competition for funding, the competition for facilities, the competition for faculty is just alive, vigorous, and impressive. And it, you know, in this country, we sort of automatically assign a value to good competition. And I think that's a perfectly sensible axiom to live by. And so higher education in our country, I think, is at a very high level. And I don't think there's any serious doubt, and just look in the world around, that for a countrywide education system, higher education in this country is as good as it gets. Public education is infected with other characteristics. And one of them is that teaching is not high quality. The performance, the impact of teachers, the performance of teachers is less than what is possible. And it's, and I'm into very argumentative area here, so, and we're not going to have that debate. And I apologize for having just one side of it laying on some of you who I'm sure will disagree with me violently. But the fact is, from my point of view, that we need to create a situation in which teacher motivation is alive and well every morning when they get up to go to work. So there has to be some, the way this country works is we do that through the compensation system. And then there isn't any doubt that, in my, I'm being very argumentative. I don't have any doubt that we need to have that characteristic become a part of the public teaching, and not have it be a situation where there's really no threat, there's no motivation to get better at it. It's also true that we have very low expectations of our education system, and I think it's very clear that if we set our expectations higher, we would perform at a higher level. And we need, hold your hat, we need national standards here. We need to have an understanding of where kids in the fourth grade should be in terms of the arithmetic they're doing and in terms of their reading ability, and, you know, an array of things that should happen by the fourth. So we have standards, we know, and we teach to those standards, and all the way on through high school. And finally, we at the foundation believe that the standard, the overall standard, should be to have children graduate from high school in our country ready for college, qualified to go to college. Not that, recognize perfectly well that there aren't enough colleges, maybe never will be, for everybody to go to college, but yet then you go on and say, or a high quality of work. And those are really tough reforms that we're talking about, but it's fundamental, and it's really important. And I think I've already disclosed my basic optimism. I think there are things happening in this country that are positive movements in that direction. One of the most exciting things is the school district in the place where it should be the best, the United States Capitol, is perhaps the worst metropolitan school district in the world. They have a new mayor who was a couple of years ago, who was elected on the platform of fixing the Washington, D.C. school system. And he was elected by a majority in every precinct in the city. And he got in and he completely turned the school thing upside down, hired a 36-year-old Korean woman from
Michelle Rhee.
Michelle Rhee, R-H-E-E, who has just turned the thing completely upside down. And it may provide a wonderful example of what is possible for people who really, I mean, it was a disaster. It really was. I think their graduation rate was something lower than 50%. I mean, it was just worse than the rest of the country, which is somewhere in the neighborhood of 40% of kids who start high school don't finish, at least in urban schools. So anyway.